Hey, everybody. Look at Scotty G. He's happy. Now I gotta go over here. Hang on.
A little happy. A little happy.
Lines time. Okay, go live.
Did you
All
say
right.
I gotta acknowledge how bad I goofed up that last episode though when I said we didn't run through the castle.
I only got like 5 emails on that. I'm like, yeah, we know.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was like, we know. I was like, we ran through the opposite direction. I know.
Yeah, that's why I was so tired and I didn't even feel good the day we recorded.
I know. I said we were exhausted. I was like, we didn't get our picture taken that day. I was like, that was my big thing. Hey, everybody over on Instagram.
They flipped the course around because you always came out going towards Main Street. So I want to quick say that because before I start getting blasted.
No, it's fine. People were like, because I was like, I swore I did, but I was like, then I started second guessing myself. I was like, maybe I didn't. Maybe I buzzed the castle. Like, maybe I just went by it and looked. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, but at that point, I was so tired, I didn't know what I did. Because then he said I didn't. I was like, probably I didn't. I don't know.
Yeah. Then Stacy messaged me. She's like, here's a picture of me in the castle, in their Tiki Birds outfit. So I know it was the 10K.
I was like, okay, good. Because I forget who it was. Like the first person. I mean, it was like right away. I was like, thank you. I was like, but Scott already texted me and told me we did. I was like, but thank you for backing me up. So I wasn't like losing my mind.
Yes, actually, I remember seeing. Yeah, my Emily was flying at that point. She just wanted to be done. So I remember it was really short with you. So I apologize for that because I had to be a dad and catch up to her. But yeah, it was awesome to see you there. We're close to the finish at that point.
Oh man, so fun. It's a good night. And apparently everybody's having a snow day here tomorrow because we're getting a big ice storm in the morning,
really?
Overnight. Yeah, the ice is the worst. It's not snow, it's gonna be ice.
Yeah, I saw Michelle during the marathon. Yep. Gosh, it's been that long since we haven't even talked about the marathon or New Year's.
No, we haven't had a live show since Christmas.
Haven't talked about my resort stay at World.
I know, it's nuts. All right, let's get started. Oh wait, hang on, let me hit the tweet and we'll start.
Oh, the Spartans won too on the road today, which they haven't done in all year. So
who are they playing?
They played Katie's Terps today. When Katie said, "Hey," they made me think, "Oh yeah, the Spartans beat Maryland today too."
Mizzou's terrible this year.
I did the superstitious thing. I sat in a chair I normally don't sit in for the Spartan game as a test. And I said, well, if the Spartans lose while I'm in this chair, then it means I have to switch chairs for the Lions game. I mean, it was weird, man. And then the Spartans won. I was like, all right, I got to stay in this chair now.
That's a good prep. I mean, yeah, why not?
I was willing to sacrifice the Spartans' loss for that chair position.
Good prep. All right, here we go. Man. And the UIC won in overtime, even though they tried to give the game away. All right, here we go. I think I got everything set.
First race ever, and she did a half. That's awesome. Congratulations to your friend.
Where's that over here? Holy cow, man. It's been a while since I've done this. Too many buttons. Okay, here we go. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the BOGP open line for Sunday night, January 21st, 2024. I am your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com, and of course, one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. It has been a minute since we have had a BOGP open line. So since we've gotten back together, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Marathon Weekend, Happy Disneyland Half-Marathon Weekend, and everything else in between. In the time that we have been apart, my daughter Mallory has, she turned 16. She's got a driver's license. She's got a car and she's got a job. I mean, it's been a minute. It's been wild. And we've been to Walt Disney World. We've been to Disneyland. We've run races. I tripped over a speed bump, which they told me it's coming. There's cast members there. Speed bump ahead. It wasn't Riley. I think that's what it was. I'm conditioned to hear Riley just repeating. West Coast, they don't have that. They have live action people that are kind of supposed to be telling you it's coming. Didn't see it, wiped out, still made it look cool on the picture, had a hole in my tights. Still mad about that because they're my favorite pair. But we're going to have a good time taking your calls tonight. It's been a minute, so we want to hear from you. You want to share your thoughts on Disneyland races, Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend races, what's going on in the Disney news. We are having the phone lines open for you, 407-413-9395. But before that, we got to get to my brother from another mother who is happy. I mean, I saw so many happy folks that are his brother from another mother and sisters up at Ford Field. I mean, people that were just painted blue And they were as happy as could be. And I am so happy for them. They have a great coach. They have a great organization. And this one was a long time coming. Hoping for 2 more wins for the Motor City. Scotty G, nice win for the Lions today. What's going on?
Thank you, Mike. Great organization. That's funny because, like, being a Detroit Lions fan, those don't go hand in hand, but they have been lately, and it's awesome to see the turnaround. But my gosh, it's been a long time. Happy New Year to everyone. I've been to Walt Disney World at New Year's. You know, we celebrated the New Year's there. We did the marathon. We did Disneyland. But I had to start off with a goof that I made on the last episode. So when we came back from Disneyland, I had been gone for 15 out of 17 days. Really tired. I really wasn't feeling that well. I even told you, Mike, like, hey, I don't even want to record.
You did.
Like, come on, I need you to record this episode.
It was my fault.
So I was like, all right, whatever. And I made a statement about how we didn't run through the castle on the 10K. And I couldn't like elaborate my words the way I wanted to. What I meant to say was like we ran the reverse, how they switched the course. And to me, it almost, I guess I forgot that we ran through it because it was backwards or whatever. So wanted to get that out. My good friend Stacy pointed out to me later that night because she listened to the replay the night that we recorded live. She's like, Scott, of course we did. Here's a photo of me and Jared in our Tiki Bird costumes in the castle. I was like, oh yeah. And Mike was sure. Like I convinced Mike that we didn't. So sometimes we have a bad day, you know. Sometimes we can't always be 100% on the show. So I wanted to say I had a big time goof there. So before you email or tweet at me, I know I made a mistake. Sorry about that one. We did run through the castle on the 10K. It was just backwards.
It was one of those things. Like at that point, like Scott said, we recorded on a Monday. No, it was a Tuesday. It was a Tuesday. Like we all had gotten home on a Monday. And we were exhausted. I mean, I'll be honest. Scott and I were just totally wiped. We had to get, I was a stickler. We weren't going to miss a show. So the deadline is Tuesday night because the podcasts come out on Tuesday night for the Wednesday shows. And so we were recording, like we had no spare time. So I was just like, maybe we didn't run through the castle. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I did because I remember telling you that, because again, this was my first Disneyland race experience. You had done many races out at Disneyland. I had never done that. And I remember after that race, a great course. I said, I loved it. We were in the parks a ton for the 10K.
Yeah.
Loved that course. It was a really fast course too for being in the parks. But the thing that I didn't like, there were hardly any photographers compared to Walt Disney World. Like they're everywhere around Walt Disney World. There were only like 3 spots, on that course where you're getting your picture taken, and none at the castle. And I remember pointing that out to you. I said, I ran through the castle. There was not a photographer. And you're like, oh, but tomorrow you're going to run through the opposite direction coming towards Main Street, and there will be a photographer.
Yeah, that's why I told you. And then for some reason I drew that as, oh, we didn't run through it because it really messed with me as someone has ran those courses before, because I had a great picture of the 10K with me and Emily. Is Emily's first 10K. It was the last race they did there before this last weekend. And we're coming up on Phil and Teresa, and I'm grabbing like Phil's hand, like it was just like this great thing. And I knew that was the 10K. So that's why I was confused. Like, why didn't we do that? What's kind of funny though, Phil caught me during the half marathon this last weekend and recreated that. Like he came up behind me and grabbed my hand. It was just kind of funny. So shout out to Phil for giving me a good laugh there.
Most interesting man in the world is what we always say.
He really is. He really is.
And he will do anything to make the weekend. So I love Phil, man. He's awesome. Didn't get to spend enough time with the Shine Gold. That's one of my disappointments. I saw Teresa on the course. She was over like right on the other side of this big old hill, like on a road.
Mile 5. That was a huge hill.
What was up with that hill? I should have stopped and like hung out, but I was just so mad about that hill. I just kept trucking. I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah, big shout out. I don't know if we gave the shout out to the cheer team like I always do because I love the cheer team. But yeah, like Teresa was there, Ray and Kelly were there. I know Lori was there, Robert was there during the 10K. So we had a good cheer squad out there too. My wife, of course, was out there too. Katie for the half. Like even when we like switch coast, when we have like a smaller group, we still have a heck of a cheer squad out there. So mad props to them cheering us on.
Mad props, because it does make it more fun when you see friendly faces. And Teresa was there with all the friends, and everybody just and we needed it after going over that hill because
we saw them twice. We saw them like before mile 1, then we saw them at mile 5. Like they were getting around. It was awesome.
They were. All right, 474139395. You want to share your experience with Marathon Weekend, Disneyland Half-Marathon Weekend? We don't have to talk running. Hey, while we were gone, park reservations disappeared, and guess what? Nothing changed. Like I have not heard a word about any kind of issues at Walt Disney World. Park hopping, normal. Nothing. I think you can park up now without having to wait till 1:00, right? Is it not?
Right. Yeah.
I haven't heard of any kind of hiccups or anything without any of this stuff. I mean, for Magic Your Way tickets, of course, you and I still have to make park reservations because we're annual pass holders. Lots of our listeners are. So let's end this charade and just go back to the old days, right?
Another news thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you're not in the shopping, Mike, so you may have missed this one, but I'm pretty sure on the Walt Disney World portion of the trip, I saw a headline that Vineyard Vines is coming to Disney Springs. Is that right? Because that is my jam. I'm pretty sure I saw a headline for that. You're shaking your head like you don't know.
I do not know.
Hopefully I'm not making this up like the 10K thing with the castle, but I'm pretty sure I saw a headline that Vineyard Vines is coming. And wouldn't that be sweet? They did some Disney crossover. Oh man, that would be awesome.
So Vineyard Vines is they're a clothing company, I guess.
Yeah.
Do they not sell them at the Grand Floridian? Is that what they sell?
Yeah, they're at there's Grand Floridian. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, Ashley backed it up. That is
boom. Thank you, Ashley. Excited. Could you imagine if they did some crossover and you could do some Mickey stuff, because they do sports teams and other things like that are copyrighted. So that would be awesome. Hoping to see that.
And that's our Disney news segment of the night. Vineyard Vines coming to Disney Springs soon. Let's see here. So again, we need calls. This is why we're here. And everybody will call in the last 15 minutes of the show. We'll have 7 phone calls stacked, but why not call in right now? Well, nobody's calling. So 47413-9395. So Michelle asked earlier, she heard that the Disneyland races were a mess. She said, set us straight. They were not a mess, really. They weren't. And I got a lot of emails this week about that recap. But I got emails from, both the marathon weekend and the Disneyland race weekend recaps that we did over the past couple of weeks. But the Disneyland one, somebody mentioned that actually more than one person mentioned, Scott, exactly what you said. And they said that they think that you got it right. In both emails, the last 2 emails that I got, they said they liked the word that you used, rust. They said that they felt like, and these were experienced Disneyland racers, they agreed with you with the term rust. Disneyland didn't do it wrong. It's just that they probably have new folks after 7 years. First race in 7 years. The team's probably not intact. Probably some people are, but they're probably bringing new folks in. Like they had a new announcer with Carissa, right? I mean, this guy was a runner, but he wasn't an announcer. Carissa kind of led the way, showed him how it was. I think it was like that probably on every team, veteran person leading a new staff. And they did all right, but they just, they might have missed a few things here and there. And it was a great weekend. Don't get me wrong, but maybe a little rust here and there.
Yeah, definitely the rust. I'm sure you've heard about the water stop at mile 3. I've never seen anything like that in my life, where you're running a race and you just had to put on the brakes and there was nowhere to go. I've never seen a bottleneck like that. We actually saw it twice from where I was in the corrals. I think at the first water stop, which was somewhere between 1.5 and 2 miles maybe. And then for that 3rd mile water stop, so you got people that, like to take the photo, right, with the mile marker, which I like to do too, especially on the shorter distances. And then, so you got people stopping there. And then it's just this narrow path, right by, kind of where Soren is, kind of in that land of DCA. There was just nowhere you could go. We were stopped for 5 minutes. We couldn't go anywhere. And that's what I mean by rust. I don't think they figured out their water stops well enough, to find those open spaces. I mean, once you finally got open, it was fine. I will say, I don't know if I said this on the show, but miles 5 through 9 were very boring. I mean, I know you're out in the city of Anaheim. They don't own all the roads, like they do at World, so it's kind of tougher. But I would like to see more entertainment like they had in the past. But maybe that's just something they're going to work on. I think they're going to learn a lot from this weekend and improve upon that for when they do. I think they're doing a Halloween race, right, in September. So I hope they learn from that. Maybe they need to drop the registration a little bit. Maybe they had too many half marathon runners for their capacity that they have, but I'm sure they're going to learn from it. And it's just going to be improved upon as we go in the future. So, which I'm really excited for, because I love running out of distance.
I did too. All right. We have tons of folks tuned in, and sorry about that. The phones were acting a little weird, but I think we got them set. We have our first call from the 203 area code. Hey, who's joining us? Hello, caller. Sounds windy.
Sounds cold, yes.
Sounds cold and windy. Hello, caller. You there? Hello.
I think we lost him.
They're there, but it sounds cold. But let's do this.
Hi, are you there?
Oh, I'm here. Hey.
Can you hear me, Mike?
Yes. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Uh-oh. This is not good.
Oh, am I talking to you, Mike?
Yes, I'm right here.
I cannot hear you.
Oh no.
Oh no,
Good.
the audio is mixed up.
Oh, let me try. So let me try this one more time. Hang on. Let me try one more caller and see if it was her or me. Then I might need to reset. Hey, this is Mike. Who's this?
Let me try this one more time. Hang on.
It must be me.
It's now working.
Hello, caller.
Hey, this is Mike. Who's this? Let me try.
I'm just hearing you, Mike, like on an echo or a delay.
Hello.
All right. Let me
Yeah,
reset.
I'm not hearing you, Mike.
Okay, let me reset. All right, Katie, hang on one second. Let me reset.
See, you want to talk about rust. So Disneyland Run
it is
Disney was a little rusty. We haven't done this in over a month, so we're a little rusty too in the BR Guys podcast studios, right, Mike?
So let me reset this. And Scott, so talk more about, well, what about Marathon Weekend? We did Dopey.
Yeah, so marathon was fun. So I'll tell you, like, I want to talk about my stay a little bit. So I stayed, I marked off another resort. I think I've stayed at all the resorts now, besides maybe like an all-star or two. So we've stayed at French Quarter. I'm not French Quarter. We stayed at Port Orleans Riverside a handful of times. Love that resort. Great atmosphere. I love the Sassagoula boats. It's one of my favorite rides in all of Walt Disney World, the ride over to Disney Springs there. But never stayed at French Quarter. And I think part of the reason why, Mike, you might know this from the travel agent side, for years, that resort was never discounted. Like there would be like a big discount, and French Quarter, for whatever reason, was never part of the discount, probably because of the size, right? It's a smaller resort. But over New Year's, like starting January 1st, they had a discount. So we stayed a couple nights at Caribbean Beach. So we had good Skyliner access to Epcot for New Year's and all that. Then we switched over to the French Quarter. And I thought it'd be like the same, right, as Riverside. Like I was expecting to have a great time. And it blew me away. Like I loved it. It's my new, I got the Mike Rallman thing going on here where it's like, look, the last place I stayed is my favorite resort. And like, I can't wait to get back there. I mean, I got lucky because our room view, like when you stepped out the door, Mike, you came to our room one time. You were looking right on the Sassagoula. You could see the 15th fairway from the Buena Vista golf course. I mean, it was just amazing. And I will tell you, like, I love all the cast members at Walt Disney World, Disneyland Cruise Line, all the cast. Like they make it happen, right? They're the magic makers. But every time I come through French Quarter, whether if it's just to get some beignets or just to hang out or whatever, I am treated so greatly by their cast members. Like whoever their manager is or whoever's running that place, I've said this for years, does a phenomenal job. And I just applaud them, and it just gets me want to stay at French Quarter even more now.
French Quarter is highly rated by our guests, but it is just, I love it as well. All right, let's try the phones one more time. And if not, we're going to use the video chat feature here on the podcast, and we'll get around this. We have ways until we figure this out. So caller, can you hear me now? No. Hang on.
Silence is golden.
Caller, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but apparently you can't hear me.
I can hear you.
That sounds like Katie.
And now I got Pam texting me from Icon of the Seas?
Yeah, Icon.
And
She's
Pam
on the ship already?
Big boat, and she's sending me text messages. What's going on, Katie? How's it going?
It's going. Just, recovering from our coast-to-coast adventures.
Good Lord, my joints are still hurting.
Right. I mean, I got, for obvious reasons, a lot less miles than y'all. But that's for very good reasons, though.
Well, and one more time, congratulations on about 1 million things.
1 million things, basically.
all the things.
Yes. Since the last call-in show, I got engaged. More officially announced that I'm pregnant. Turned 30 in Disneyland. Did a bunch of races. The whole 9 yards.
Yes, you pack a lot of life events into a small period of time, I must say.
I'm efficient. I've always been efficient at life.
That's one way to put it. That is, you spread out a lifetime of stuff into like a month. That's pretty good. And Scott's taking I think a selfie, or he's taking a picture of us. I can't tell. Yeah. So what were some of the, I mean, I can't even ask. You're terrible to have to ask this, but like, I mean, the highlights, like, I mean, you were celebrating like milestones of life, like we were just running races, I mean, nothing compared to what you were celebrating with, your husband to be and, the photo shoots and all that good kind of stuff. But I mean, just looking back, give us like 5 minutes of reflection.
No, yeah. So I think honestly, just the love that the lizards gave us not only for all of the reasons that were happening, but just the lizards being the lizards. Like the one story I shared was literally getting off the plane and Jennifer Sheldon is like right there getting on the monorail with us. And she's like, oh, I have a rental car. If we're both going to Pop Century, get in my back seat. So like we hadn't even left the airport yet. And especially because this is Ray's first marathon weekend, introducing him to all of the friends that I've gotten to know and love through the years. So I think really just starting honestly as simply as running into Jennifer in the airport was super amazing. I think a lot of people have opinions about the half marathon in Disney World in terms of it being the half of the half, which are all very valid, especially the amount of training that you put into this was supposed to be Ray's first half marathon. So he did feel some sort of way, like not experiencing like a true 13.1 mile experience. He did do the extra miles after the fact, but it's still not quite the same thing. But selfishly, that allowed me to participate. For those of you who don't know, my OB did not clear me to participate in the half and full distances, just as a precautionary measure. So being able to do what was like the 7.1 miler, allowed me to do our first race together. So now we can tell our future child that we did a race together as a family of three. So while it was a very letdown for a lot of people, it actually was a blessing in disguise for us. So I think that's one thing that always to keep in mind, that like there always could be that like positive side to things that might not appear to be as positive, you know, from the beginning. So I think that was a very big highlight. Another highlight too was in Disneyland. Might have, you know, bent the rules ever so slightly, but haven't we all in some way, shape, or form? But when I went to the expo, because I was ultimately able to qualify for Coast to Coast, because of doing the half in Disney World,
Right.
I was able to get the Coast to Coast bracelet. Knowing I wasn't going to participate in the half, but I was like, oh, I'm going to get this bracelet. And they put it on me like the most loosely they possibly could. And so it was falling off. And so I passed it off to Marlessa morning of. And I was like, if this gets you a Coast to Coast medal, try it. And if not, you know, because I didn't know how strict they would be about that. But she was able to get it because apparently they just took one glance at it and didn't check anything else. So she was able to get my Coast to Coast medal for me. So shout out to Marlessa, who also did fantastic in her races, by the way. So in the end, I still was able to get like the medal I ultimately wanted from the whole 2 weekends, which was the Coast to Coast medal, because I'm pretty sure that probably not going to be able to actually do Coast to Coast again for a while for pretty obvious reasons. So yeah, so shout out to the fact that some more magic happened on that front too.
And you put in your miles. You run full marathons all over the place, all over the country. So.
Literally, yeah. So the baby already did the New York City Marathon. We didn't know it at the time, but baby did New York City Marathon. So they're being born literally a marathoner.
Yeah, that's more than most people will ever do in their lifetime. So that's pretty excellent.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly. I had quite the travel adventures though with Southwest Airlines for both weekends. We were delayed 6.5 hours leaving Orlando for just weather elsewhere in the country. Although that got us a $200 flight voucher, which was very nice. But actually flying out to California, I connected through Chicago, which was probably my first mistake. But in doing so, our plane actually skidded on ice on the runway.
Oh my God.
And we were met with like fire trucks and like airport operation vehicles as the pilot had to veer our plane off the runway. Apparently, when your plane hits ice in Chicago, Southwest will give you a $50 voucher.
I'll pass on that. I would just rather have a safe landing without the skidding and all that stuff. I'll pass. And by the way,
exactly.
One of my big tips I give my guests at the Magic for Less: connecting in the winter months. Go south. Always go south if you can.
Yeah.
Don't go to Chicago.
The downside was that we didn't really have, especially coming back, my flight got canceled because I was going through Nashville, which I thought would be a safe connection, but it was the exact opposite.
It can be
for like
too.
everybody.
Yeah.
So I ended up having 2 connections coming back, which actually ended up being fine. One of them was Phoenix, which was probably the safest connection you could have had coming back. And then Louisville, Kentucky, which was a kind of random connection for me, but worked in the end.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah.
But in the end, like a lot of people ended up getting stranded, particularly in Disneyland, because of all the winter weather. I got back literally the nick of time. We had 2 snow days in the few days I've been back to work. So I've only been back to work for like 2 days this whole calendar year so far.
Yeah, that's crazy. They're having an ice day tomorrow for sure here in St. Louis. I mean, we're getting a big ice.
Oh yeah,
storm
definitely.
overnight,
Yeah.
So again, yeah, but I know a ton of people had to stay late, out of Disney. I was fortunate. I got my nonstop out of there, got home exactly when I was supposed to, but I was Scott too, I think, one of the few. I mean, most people did get nailed with that. So
Yeah.
I was super lucky to get
Yes,
back.
I remember I was telling Joe Fickus that my flight through Nashville got canceled. And he's like, oh, that's weird. That's where I'm supposed to go. And I'm like, yeah, your flight's probably going to get canceled. And he's like, no, I should be fine. And then the next day he gets to the airport, tries to board, and then flight gets canceled, like in the boarding process. I wanted to say I told you so, but I felt like that would be, a little disrespectful in the moment. So I did it. But this is me doing it now.
Worst. So what do you have on the plans now? Is that because this is like my Run Disney season? I'm not doing. Somebody was asking in the chat if we're doing Princess. I'm not doing Princess or Springtime.
Yeah, I'm not
This
either.
is it.
Once, I usually register for a lot of non-Run Disney races around the new year just because there's typically New Year discounts. But, I knew about things at that point, so I didn't register for anything. I might try to do some local races because there are quite a few in the DC area. But otherwise I might just lay low until, post baby, which is due in the summer. So we'll see how marathon weekend next year will be the big question mark because I'll only be 4 months postpartum. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to swing Dopey, which will be my first time not doing Dopey since 2016.
That's my first year too.
Again, it's for very good reasons.
Yeah, I bet you will. But I mean, no pressure. But I bet you. I know you. You're like a superwoman, but no pressure. No, I'm not that kind of person. But I know
registration being so early, that's really hard when you don't.
I know
actually
it's
know
terrible.
what life is going to bring you.
Yeah, I never thought about that from a woman's point of view. Like I worry about it just because I'm old. Like from an old point of view. Like, do I want to do that next year? Because like I've said, that was my last.
No, yeah.
But then, this year was pretty.
No,
fun.
yeah, and that's some of the world majors, some, like New York, Chicago, etc., have gotten very generous with like pregnancy and postpartum deferrals. Like very, very generous in the last like really just 2 years or so. Would selfishly wish that Run Disney would do the same, but I'm not sure that we're there yet.
All right. Well, we got a bunch of people trying to grab in here, so we are going to cut you loose. But I'm glad we got it working somehow. Magic worked. But you take care of yourself and your husband to be and the baby, and we're so glad we got to hang out a little bit out in Disneyland and Walt Disney World.
Definitely. Thank you all.
All right. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Congratulations, Katie.
Yep. Bye-bye. All right. We have some, let's see here. We're going to try to use some video chatters, even though we don't have a video here. I think we have AJ. AJ, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hey, can you hear me?
I can. What's going on?
All right.
We're jumping in here. We appreciate it.
Great. Yeah, I won't go on video. I'm coordinating some dinner here with the kids. So,
Hey, more importantly, what's for see if it was me, it'd be mac and cheese by Kraft. But
that is mac and cheese and a spaghetti-o was on order tonight.
that is my dinner right there, man. SpaghettiOs and mac and cheese. I love it.
So, hey, I had a story I thought would be interesting for you guys and for everyone else, and then also have a question for a upcoming trip for you guys.
Sure.
So I don't know if you heard recently the whole Mickey Mouse copyright went away. I think it was like 100 years or something. And then I forgot about it. It's like 10 years ago. I had an elderly neighbor, and I noticed on the back of her car she had a magnet, and it was a magnet of Mickey Mouse, and it said like HHS. And I said, Mary, I was like, are you like a DVC member? Because it was a legit Mickey Mouse, and I was trying to figure out what that was. And she said it was actually her Catholic girls' school got the rights to use Mickey Mouse as their mascot. And she said it was like from when Steamboat Willie came out, I guess the school president, they needed a mascot. So they wrote Walt a letter and said, hey, could we use Mickey Mouse for our girls' high school? And he wrote back and said, yep, sure, you can use it. So when she told me the story, I think they were the only people in the world that could actually use Mickey Mouse and not violate this trademark. So I thought it was kind of neat. I guess that's no longer around now if the Steamboat Willie kind of copyright expired, but thought it was kind of a neat story to share.
So where's that school? Where's it located?
In Philadelphia. I think it's Hallahan High School. So I looked it up, and I think there's a few articles about it. And she said, like, in their hallways, they had the letter was signed by Walt Disney that said, like, yep, you're free to use Mickey Mouse. And that from their mascot, they had Mickey Mouse mascot. Their gym was called the Mousetrap. So they had all their like basketball games of the Mousetrap, and then all their like pamphlets and materials for the school. A very small, like all girls Catholic high school, but everything was Mickey Mouse. And just because that one letter that Walt Disney wrote them and allowed them to do that.
That is
amazing.
That reminds me of, like, the University of Oregon. They have the duck, right? They're the Ducks.
Yep. Yeah.
That's modeled after Donald Duck. That's like through the Disney company too.
Yep. Yeah. It's funny is I never would have thought that. And I thought I was trying to figure out if she was a DVC member or what. And then she gave me the whole backstory. I was pretty cool.
You're trying to figure out, because you're like, okay, Vero Beach, Hilton Head, like what resort am I missing? Where do I need to go? We talking to Lonnie, which one? And you're like, dude, it's a high school in Philadelphia. Like, what? Yeah. That's a cool story. So what else you got going on besides mixing?
Yeah. So the question I had for you guys is, we're playing the
AJ, real quick. The key to the Kraft macaroni and cheese, just the right amount of milk when you put it in, just the right.
Oh, nice. Yes. That would have been a good. I think he ate most of it, but I don't know. We have a trip coming up here at the end of February, and we're using DVC points. And I know the dining plan just came back, and I was curious, like, I think I can add the dining plan if I'm on DVC, but I wasn't sure exactly how to do that. But when I ran some of the math, like all the restaurants we have and for how much money they charge the kids at the buffets anyway, I did some math, and I think I'll save a few $100 if I do the dining plan, but I wasn't exactly sure how to go about doing that on the DVC side.
So typically you have to have a package to add dining. So I know, because I can't deal with DVC as a travel agent, because that's a whole separate part of the thing, but you have to have a package. You guys you have annual passes, right?
No. So I still have to buy my tickets. I have to buy my tickets, and then I was hoping to add a dining plan, I guess.
Well, that makes it even easier, because if you buy a package with like your tickets included, then you just it's all one thing. It's a package with tickets and dining, and it just builds together. So when you go on there, you just build the dining with the tickets, and it's real simple. It's when you already have tickets, like an annual pass, it gets a little bit more convoluted, because you have to build the ticketless package with dining, which just means a lot of times you can't do it online. You got to call it in. But
I see. Okay.
It's not hard. Yeah, it's simple. And it does make sense when you have kids. If you're doing character dining, you will save money.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I added we're doing like Boma, Ohana, and Chef Mickey's and Tusker House. So I added all those up. They're each about $200 a meal about. So I pretty much almost break even there.
Yeah, you're in good shape. I would definitely get it. And then, it's prepaid. Then you've already knocked out the part of your cost ahead of time too, and you don't have to sweat it during the trip. That's when it's even close. I like to go that way.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I'll do that. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So
right,
maybe I'll call in a few weeks if I have any more questions in preparation.
All right, I appreciate it, bud. Thanks for calling in, and
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Take care. Bye.
See you, AJ.
All right, John has been waiting patient. Let's get John in here. Hey, John, what's going on? Oh, hang on. I think you're muted. Hang on. Maybe that's on my end. Oh, I think it's on your end. It says you're muted. I can't unmute you because you muted yourself. It's funny. I can't. I'm running the show, and I can't even.
I unmuted him, I think. Oh no, can't unmute.
Nope, we can't unmute because he chose to mute himself. Oh wait, he had it for a second. Wait, there you go. You're good.
That's funny because it shows me as unmuted on my side. Sorry about that.
Hey, tonight is just a comedy of errors. We haven't done this for 4 weeks, and it's like we haven't done it for 4 years.
That is okay. Listen, Mike, as a Buckeye, I just have to give props to Mizzou. I mean, it was painful. I sent you an email. It was painful that you guys beat the crap out of us, but it looks like we're doing pretty well in the transfer portal.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, as also a Bama fan, you have just robbed Alabama over the last 48 hours. So it's payback is what they say. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
So I know this isn't a sports podcast or broadcast, but I just wanted to bow down to the power that was Missouri.
It was a fun game. It was fun to play.
And I met you guys. I think it was last year. We were waiting in line at the Princess, and Mike, I'd met you before at Old Key West. So anyway, we're coming back again for Princess this year, and I was just looking at some dining reservations, and I have never eaten at Chefs de France, and we were thinking about checking that out. Have either of you guys ever been there?
Yes, we've been there together many times on 4th of July, actually.
4th of July, ironically enough, twice I've been there.
Speaking of mac and cheese, that mac and cheese looks pretty good on that menu. So that's why I was thinking about that.
Mac and cheese is good. I don't know if you like a French onion soup, but I love the French onion soup there too. And my girls and our friend Beth love like the short rib. They love getting the short rib there. I'm not a short rib fan personally, but they love getting it there.
Okay. Well, we're staying at Old Key West.
The atmosphere is so cool too. Yeah,
it is.
We're staying at Old Key West, so we're coming down Wednesday. Thursday we're going to do Epcot, and I was trying to figure out. There's not a festival going on, oddly enough, because it seems like there's always a festival.
Right.
And I thought that we'd try something different. So Chefs de France was popping up for me. And then the other place is. Was it the three? So later on in the trip, the Three Bridges. Is it Three Bridges at Coronado?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to try that. That's not a reservation place, right? That's just a walk up.
Correct. So it's one that you have to join through the app. So and it's one of those where you have to be in the general facility. So if you take a bus over to Coronado, you can load up the app and then you can kind of check in from there. So my advice always is, John, is try to get there early. Try to get there around 5 if you can. I think actually they might open at 4 or 4:30, but I mean, you can go throughout any of the day, but you might just have to wait longer. But if you go there first thing, you can usually get seated right away. You just have to check in through the app. That's the only way around it, really.
Okay.
Kind of weird, but it's a cool spot. I highly recommend it. And I was going to say about Chefs de France, if you listen to the podcast, you know me very well. You always got to tie that into a showing of Impressions de France. If you're going to eat there, you have to see the show too.
Well, of course. Yeah, I want to see I want to do a different place for dinner, and I want to check out the new show. I have not seen the new nighttime show.
Awesome.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. Because that's the sad thing about Marathon Weekend, right? You're down there. I was down there for 6 days, but couldn't watch any of the nighttime stuff because you got to get up at 2:00 in the morning. So
my wife and my daughter are doing the marathon stuff. They're doing the challenge. I am there just to provide DVC points at Old Key West and to just eat. So
you're support. Your support. You're the pit crew. Yeah.
And we got enough points recently. I'm going to do a Scott thing, and we're going to stay the following week, my wife and I, and just work down there. So
perfect.
Yeah, it's great.
Old Key West is a great place to do that, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and at lunchtime you can go to Gurgling Suitcase and get a drink. So
yes, John, we need to hang out more, man.
Hey, Big Ten for the win.
Exactly.
I was getting ready to say that. These are Big Ten brothers, right?
It's kind of cool about Old Key West too. Little trick. So if you have to leave Epcot because you're tired or whatever, or you just want to hang out at the resort, if you hang around that area where the outdoor seating is for Olivia's, and you look off to the right a little bit, you can watch the Epcot fireworks from there too. It's slightly obstructed, but it's really not that bad. So another tip: if you're just hanging out at the resort at night, you can still see the fireworks.
You see people on that bridge all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They're always standing on that bridge watching. But anyway, it's good talking to you guys. Maybe I'll see you again sometime down there.
Yeah, I wish I would be there for Princess. I can't do all these races anymore, John. I just don't have enough PTO in the world. I'd have to work down there a little bit. But I hope you have a great time hanging out with the family at Old Key West. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, good luck to your wife and your daughter down there in the races, and you're doing the right thing. You'll actually get to sleep, so you win.
Exactly.
Well, you guys have a great night.
All right, you take care, John. And
Big Ten rules.
See you in the Natty next year. All right.
It's going to be interesting next year. You got to win 4 games to get to the Natty.
I know it's going to be like the NFL playoffs. It's going to be awesome. All right, let's get Matt in here.
Hello.
Matt, it says you're a Disney fan and exercise walker in your lower third.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes, I am. I
I love it.
Yeah, I've been a Disney fan since I was a kid, and I've been I've been exercise walking since I was 23 years old. When I was in high school, I was a bit on the heavy side, and I was about 200 pounds. And then after I graduated, my dad started taking me to the gym, and I got on the treadmills and ellipticals, and I lost 10 pounds, and I pretty much stayed that way through college. And I didn't even think much about it because I'm a tall guy. I'm 5'11", so I didn't think much about how big my weight was. And then I got I went to the gym at my college, and I checked my body mass index. I think you all know what that is.
Uh-huh.
And it said I was overweight for somebody my height. So I didn't think much about it, but eventually, around Christmas of 2014, my dad got me a Fitbit. I don't have it anymore; it broke. But I started exercise walking using an exercise DVD that my mother had. It was from a girl by the name of Leslie Sansone. Have any of you ever heard of her?
I have not.
No.
I'll check her out.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah, she's been around for a decade. She's been making exercise DVDs based on how to use walking for exercise. And this one DVD my mother got, and it had 1 mile walk, 2 mile walk, 3 mile walk. There was one where you actually combine walking with kickboxing moves. And I started doing that every time of the day that I got the chance to do it. And this was in December of 2014, and very slowly and surely I started losing the weight. And by May of 2015, I was down to 160 pounds.
Wow.
And as of today, the last time I got on the scale was a couple of days ago. I am now about hovering around 162 pounds.
Wow.
So that was almost 10 years.
Holy cow. That's a sustained working out, and that's all. Congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Thanks. I'm pretty proud of it. And as long as I feel good about myself and feel healthy, I'm happy.
That's
and
awesome.
My aunt is a runner, and she's been trying to get me to like do big races like marathons or whatever. And I said, I don't want to do that. It's not because that I don't like them. I just don't want to push myself and end up losing more weight. I want to stay where I'm at, and be sensible with how I eat. And I'm eating a little more so I can, at the same time as exercising, so I can try to stay where I'm at. And for the last 10 years, almost 10 years, I've pretty much done that.
Well, you look
And
great. You look
thanks.
great. And I mean, it sounds awesome. And Rhonda Lee, she's up in Nova Scotia, Canada. She's one of our listeners that listens all the time. She says Leslie Sansone workouts are great workouts, so she must use them. So
Oh, cool.
there you go.
One time my mother, she's a school student aide at my former school. And one time during lunch break, she actually did one of the videos, but it was on her phone on the internet, because she also has internet pages and YouTube and all that stuff. And so she able to squeeze one in during her lunch break.
I do that too, because I work on the phone a lot. So I have a treadmill. So when I'm on the phone, I walk on the treadmill. That's my secret.
Oh, I also have a treadmill too. I go on there whenever the weather is not cooperating. Like right now, we're having a big cold snap right here right now.
Yeah.
And it's been my mother had 2 snow days this past week. She had one on Tuesday, and then the next day was a 2-hour delay, and then Friday another snow day.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been fun. So but today I finally managed to go outside, even though it was only 21 degrees, but I bundled up. I put on the scarf over my face. I put on my hat, and I put on my big coat and my gloves. And it isn't really that cold when the sun is out, because when the sun's out, you can feel it coming on you. So it doesn't feel as cold as it might actually be.
I agree. because I had to take the dog out this afternoon. It's colder than anything here too. It's same. We probably live right about the same area because it's about the exact same temperature. But
I'm calling in from Pennsylvania.
oh, I'm in Missouri, so yeah, we're not too close, but we got about the same weather, I think. So
Yeah, that's probably why.
and an ice storm coming tonight. So hey, I got to jump because we don't have much time left, and I got a bunch of callers lined up. But don't be
Okay. Well, wait, I forgot to say one thing. Somebody was
Oh.
talking about the thing with the Mickey Mouse copyright thing. Well, I don't know if you heard, but I just wanted to add they're getting ready to make a horror movie.
I saw that. I know that's terrible. I mean, I guess
Yeah,
they
did that with Winnie the Pooh. Did you know that?
I saw it because I do watch tech podcasts.
Oh my God.
Like, come on, people.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Why once something goes into public domain, you get to do whatever the hell you want with it.
Yeah, I know. Do we need this? We don't. I don't need nightmares like this.
No, I don't think so either.
But I
All
mean,
right, well,
then at Halloween we do Goofy with a chainsaw, so I don't know. We're probably part of the problem. So what can I say? It was a
Yeah.
joke. It's
Mike, I just want to ask a couple things about you really quickly. When did you actually start doing running and exercising?
I started running in like 2014, so that was when I just decided to get up and do something. I ran my first marathon in 2015. So
Cool.
10 years ago.
What was the? I hope this is not too personal, but can I ask what your peak weight was?
Probably about 220, 230.
Oh,
Consider when I used to speed skate, I was down at 150.
I didn't know you speed skated.
Yeah, when I was in college.
Oh, cool.
It was a
I
long-
skied when I was in high school.
yeah.
That was fun. And how tall are you?
6'3".
Oh, you got me by 3 inches.
Yeah, I'm pretty tall.
Yeah. And how much do you weigh now?
Secret. I keep that secret.
Okay, fair enough.
I appreciate you, buddy. Hey, don't
All
be
right.
that. Hey, enjoy before we know it, it'll be too hot to be outside. So enjoy.
All right.
Enjoy that treadmill.
Well, thanks for having me on here.
Anytime, Matt. It's good to be
All right,
good. to talk to
bye-bye.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. We have another buddy. Oh, hang on. Here he is. Talking about cold places. Plainfield, Illinois. Checking in. Our good friend Mark Yerkes. Mark, what's up?
Gentlemen, how's it going?
Hey, Mark.
Great.
Scotty, congratulations on your Lions.
Thanks. I mean, I'm sure you were hoping that the Packers and the Lions could be eliminated in the same weekend, but
Exactly. I was for sure. Hey, I've got a question for you guys. So, Mike, as you know, I'm going down like 10 days.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
The Baumkuchen in Epcot. Where exactly do I go for that?
Starbucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know. Well, so they make them next to the Starbucks, but they sell them like pre-made in a little box.
Okay,
Now,
but
here's the deal. Okay, well, let me back that up. You can buy it at. I'm gonna get it right. So the store is called Creations.
Connections.
Connections. I get store in the restaurant always backwards. The counter service restaurant over there by the Starbucks at Epcot, the new one. You can buy one there, but they'll serve it on a plate and it looks really fancy. So if you want to sit down and eat it fresh, get it there and you can mobile order it and it looks real nice and it's on a plate. But if you want it to go, like to take back to your room, get it at the Starbucks and it'll come prepackaged in a box. Because I did the wrong thing. I wanted to buy Scott one for when we finished the marathon. I wanted one for Scott because we had finished our marathon like as a treat. And I went to the mobile ordered and got the one that gave it to me on a plate. I'm like, no, I want them to go. Like, we're going to meet out by the flags out by Spaceship Earth for pictures. And the girl gave me like this box. Then I had to peel it off the plate. It was a big mess. I just wanted the Starbucks one, but you can't mobile order the Starbucks one. You got to wait in that long line. So there you go.
Yeah, okay.
But they're worth it.
Well, I want to watch it being made too. So
No, you will. They were making them.
That's the highlight for me, Mark, is watching the engineering behind it, like all the processes for making it. That's the most fascinating part.
Yeah,
It's like it's like old school Epcot. Like
it is. It's totally old school Epcot, but it's like a big donut.
yeah, I don't think I'll be able to eat it all in one sitting, but that's all right.
Oh, it's
like
not
you
big.
say.
Oh, you could totally eat it in one sitting. It's not big. I mean,
Okay.
you think? I mean, Scott, I've eaten them in one sitting like 3 times.
But you are like a legend, Mike. When it comes to that
Yeah.
stuff.
When it comes to sweets, I'm not a quitter.
Yeah, I don't do that much in the sweets, but
So, Mark, I got a question for you because like our listeners might be interested in this because you are fascinated with a part of Walt Disney World. I don't think a lot of people are, but do you have any fishing excursions planned? I had to imagine that you do, right?
Yeah.
absolutely. I've got 4. As of right now, I've got 4.
Nice.
You're
Is
gonna
Caribbean
fish.
Beach on there? Because I was just staying there and I looked at that. That looks like a nice little place to do some fishing.
It is. It's that one's a little bit challenging just because it's smaller.
Mm.
And that lake is actually like really deep. It goes to about 40 feet
Oh,
out in the
wow.
middle.
Seriously. I
Yeah,
had no idea.
and that's unusual. On Disney property anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna fish there with Mark and his wife as my guests.
That's great.
Yeah, so we're gonna do that on that Sunday morning. I'm gonna fish with Phil Scheingold the first morning I'm there, and then I'm hoping it sounds like he might be out of town, but I invited Len Testa to join me on one of our fishing excursions, and
Oh man.
hopefully, yeah, if he's in town, hopefully he can join me. So maybe me and Phil too that day. We're doing it at Epcot.
You,
So.
Phil, and Len like that. I mean, you got to have like the recording going.
That's
You
what
know,
I was
like
gonna
Right?
Yeah, you got the most interesting man in the world, one of the smartest men in the world, and you are one of the smartest and funniest guys in the world. So that would be a show and a half, right?
and if Mark is the captain, like watch out.
Exactly, yeah. You know all the fishing. I mean, yeah, exactly. Oh my god. So I can't imagine Len's much of a fisherman. I don't know Len that
No.
well, but I mean,
From
can't
what I
imagine
understand,
that's, like, in
no.
his wheelhouse. Like a lot of things are in his wheelhouse, but I can't imagine fishing is.
Right. No. And this goes back to when they were first were doing the tacos in Epcot, and they had
I
talked
was
about
there that day. Yes.
they had talked about possibly draining World Showcase Lagoon, and it got brought up on the Disney dish. So I sent Len this is pre-pandemic, right? I sent Len pictures of Hannah and Paige in our fishing excursion there at Epcot, and so ever since then, whenever I've gone down, I've invited him. Most of the time he hasn't been available. So hopefully this time he replied to me today, and he might be out of town. So
Oh,
we'll see.
man.
Dang. When you mentioned tacos in Epcot, I thought you were talking about the day, and I think you were there. Remember the day that this is what I thought you were mentioning, the day that Len bought everybody free food in Mexico?
You're talking about the barges, I think.
I'm talking about the barges. Yeah.
I know. Once I put two and two together, that's what you're talking about. But this was like 10 years ago or more. Do you remember that day where he invited everybody to get free, like, I think it was like free chips and guac and everything at the Mexico Pavilion? I mean, there were hundreds of people there, and he bought it for everybody.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was there, man. It was crazy. Like, I mean, people were lined up around the pyramid at Mexico. It was a great meetup, man. It was like
10 days, Mark. Where are you going to be staying?
So I'm staying at Riverside this time.
Oh, great.
But I'll eat at French Quarter and Riverside both. I actually was watching some YouTubes today. I might do the bicycle rental, not the Surrey bikes, because I've learned my lesson with those. But I'm thinking I might do the bike ride and just take a bike ride around both resorts, and maybe do lunch at French Quarter one day or something. So,
have either of you eaten at Boatwright's? This is kind of a random question.
On my very first trip, we ate at Boatwright's in 2008, and it wasn't good.
Yeah. So I just did our ADRs for a trip. We have a spring break trip, and yesterday was 60 days. So I was out there making reservations. And Boatwright's has never once interested me, even though I've stayed at Riverside a bunch. And they have this image, like, how like they have like a restaurant, like photo or whatever. I was like, what is that? And I clicked in on it. It was Boatwright's, and it had corn, ribs, chicken, mac. I mean, it had like this crazy platter, and I clicked in on it. Like, it looked really good, but then I'm like, but it's Boatwright's. Like, is it going to be good?
Exactly.
Like, I just don't know.
I was looking at that too, because that platter actually looks really good. The only thing is the sausage that's on it is andouille sausage.
Yeah.
And I can't do the spicy like that.
Gotcha.
But it had
because the chicken is like a Cajun chicken or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm actually this trip I'm going. I have 0 ADRs. I'm going to do either all quick service or just walk up.
Nice.
I might do Tapanito at Epcot because I'm doing the after hours.
Oh, nice.
and so I'm thinking if I do a walk up at like 8 o'clock at night,
You'll get
that
in.
that'll exactly, and that'll set me up then for for that night going till 1 o'clock, and then I'll be over towards France to do Remy's.
Perfect.
That is a good call.
Yeah, we love going there. That's actually Emily's favorite restaurant to go to. Like we were just over there on New Year's Day. Actually, we were there. So awesome.
Yeah.
And if I think you're solo, right? So if it's just you, like that shouldn't be a problem. I feel like
Yeah, I looked today. I looked this morning, and on that day, reservations were wide open for one.
Oh, nice.
And
a lot of times,
Tepanito. I mean, because of how they do the seating, right? They're probably always looking for like
looking for one more
table.
Exactly. Getting in on with one there is especially easy.
They got to sit you in the middle though, like divide up into two groups. That would just be epic.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Cool. Any other things you're looking forward to trying? Anything new?
So this trip it'll be. I haven't done Remy's Ratatouille Adventure yet, and then Tron. I'm also doing a after hours at Magic Kingdom, and so now I'll be able to do Tron.
My guy, I love those after hours events.
Oh, I do too. There's one more the night before my last day, the day I come home. There is another one at Magic Kingdom. I'm gonna leave that one. I'll make that call probably that day. If it's still available, I might do it. We'll see.
Nice.
That's a good way to put it. See, like leave it like if it's still available, it's meant to be. And see also how you feel. I mean, if you're exhausted,
if you're tired or whatever.
Exactly. I don't know that I want to be at the Magic Kingdom till 1 a.m. Get back to the room probably by around 2. The next day I'm not leaving till the afternoon, but that's the night I typically am going to have to pack and everything. So we'll see.
That's how I did Disneyland though. Because I didn't want to leave the park on that last night at Disneyland, and I had to be in my Uber at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I stayed till like 10:30, 11.
Yeah, I mean, we watched fireworks, so we probably left to like around 10:15 because we were chatting a little bit afterwards. Yeah, so
it's hard.
And you were there at 8:15 that morning. You like rope dropped.
Dude, I rope dropped. Disneyland. I'm crazy, Mike, out there, man. It's wild.
Is that the day you didn't even take the midday nap?
I didn't take one midday nap,
and you ran a half marathon that morning.
And I ran a half marathon in there. Yeah, I do not take breaks at Disneyland. I am a nut.
Yeah, no. When I do the after hours, those nights I won't even go to the park probably until about 5 or 6. So
well, that's a way to do it. I mean, Walt Disney, and I say this and I swear it's true. Maybe it's climate, I don't know, but things are easier at Disneyland because everything's closer. And when you have Park Hopper and Genie Plus on your tickets, like you nonstop, you never have a chance to slow down. Like if you don't want to, like I literally did go from 8:15. Like I ran the half marathon that morning, went back, got a shower, cleaned up. And by that time, the park was opening. Just walked a 4-minute walk from my Good Neighbor Hotel across the street over to the Esplanade. DCA was my park that day. So went into DCA, got some pictures, rode a couple rides, had breakfast. 11 o'clock was park hopping time. Went over to Disneyland and just did the rest of the day over there. And it was just like with Genie Plus, there's always something to do with no wait. Always. There's so many things. It's wild. You don't even think about it.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get back out to Disneyland this spring, maybe.
So yeah, it's
a great place to be. I love it. I mean, I can't pick a favorite. It's too hard. Like I always feel like Disneyland's like for fun, like quick trips, and get a lot done. Where I feel like Walt Disney World is more like for vacation. Like
I agree.
You got the resorts, like all the robust restaurants and pools and all that. But like Disneyland, like you just get stuff done. It's kind of how it is.
This is going to be a short trip for me. It's only 6 nights, so
okay, that's pretty good though. I mean, it's still pretty. I know for you that's a short trip, but it's still pretty solid though.
All the fish better be getting ready.
Better warm up. I'll say that.
Yeah,
it's been kind of cold.
Yeah, that's true. They don't bite when it's cold. I guess they probably stay down low. I don't know. I have no idea how that works.
You're on it.
Is that what they do? They go down low.
They get sluggish. Let's say.
Yeah, like I'm not hungry. I'm hungry all the time, but yeah, that's me. I get hungrier the colder it gets, I think. I don't know. I'm just always eating. All right, Mark, we're sneaking one more call because this 203 area code has been trying to get in here this whole show, and I got to get this one in. But all
right,
we'll catch up with you soon. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Right,
have a good trip, Mark.
All right, bye. All right, let's grab this call. This will be the last call of the night if we can get this one to work. Hey, call, you there?
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, it's Colleen.
Colleen, thanks for calling in. Sorry it took so long. We've had all these other callers and we've been trying to get all this stuff working.
No worries. I'm so excited to talk to you and Scotty. Oh, I have an alarm going off. Sorry about that.
It's 8 o'clock. Or well,
You might
top of the hour.
remember
Let's
me. I'm
say
one
that.
of your guests from Magic for Less, and I went to San Diego in September and then Disneyland, and you hooked me up with Scotty, and I got some good travel advice. So I just wanted to personally say hi and thank you.
Well, we appreciate that, and hopefully it was good advice. And again, thanks for hanging in there and giving us, because I know you've been trying here for quite a while tonight through the phone lines. But so you went to San Diego. I hope you went. Did you get to go to the place with the Scott? Is it the burritos? The place
It's
I got.
the homemade tortillas at the
Yeah.
Old Town Mexican Cafe. Man, they're the best.
Oh man, I love Mexican food. I don't think we made it to there, but we did stay at the Lowe's Coronado.
Awesome.
And we our kids loved the Midway Museum and seeing all the planes. And I have to say, I was surprised to see how many aircraft carriers are in San Diego. I was not expecting that.
Oh yeah.
And there was a really great fish restaurant next to the Midway Museum, which worked well for all of us. One of my kids has celiac disease, so we have to really pick and choose where we eat when we're on vacation. And so that was great.
Perfect. I'm glad. I remember emailing you. I'm glad you went with the Lowe's. I just think it's kind of cool, like to go on like Coronado Island there, and like I think the Lowe's brand is pretty good. And if you go to Universal, like we're all kind of familiar with them with that. So did you like the resort? Like, did you have a good time there?
Yeah, it was really comfortable there. It was a little chilly when we were there, so we didn't use the pool or anything, but we did go see the sunset. We went to the beach. There's a kind of in the downtown Coronado area where you can see that resort that looks like the Grand Floridian.
I go there every time in San Diego. I just park my car on the side of the road and we go there for like sunrises and sunsets. Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we went there for the sunset before we went out to eat, and it was really nice beach there.
Awesome.
And the bridge from San Diego to Coronado, that is incredible, and it feels really vulnerable.
Right.
The fencing on either side of the roads or the lanes does not feel high enough for how high above the water you are.
Right. Yeah.
That was really kind of a cool way to approach the Coronado.
It's cool. Yeah. I'm glad you like that.
Yeah, definitely a neat place. Yeah. And some interesting trees there too, like really cool different palm trees and trees that I haven't seen in Florida. I'm from the Northeast, so obviously different trees, but we saw like a rainbow tree, which is like some sort of gum tree that it looks like the bark is peeling away from it, and it's a little red, a little green, a little blue. It's a really cool tree. And we saw a couple of those when we were out there. And then we went to Torrey Pines and we saw the paragliders. And that was super cool.
That's awesome.
But then, of course, Disneyland, that was our first time. And we went that time of year because we wanted so much to see the overlay at the Haunted Mansion, because my third grader, he has been in love with the Haunted Mansion since preschool, and he loves The Nightmare Before Christmas, and he can sing all the words to all the songs in that movie.
So let me ask you, because I just got to experience that for my very first time last weekend. And I'm not a fan of the movie. I've only seen bits and pieces of the movie because I'm old, right? And to me, the movie's weird. Like I'm not trying to, it's like got that weird aesthetic,
Tim
like
Burton.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
I mean, it's just like it's so
I always
different.
thought the movie was weird too.
But
then
I gotta say, I loved it. I loved it.
I think my husband got me into the movie, and you know what? Once I gave it a chance, I realized how clever the music was, and I'm a musician, so I was really drawn to the music and the lyrics. And so I could just listen. I mean, I have to, because my third grader requests it all the time. I listen to the music over and over again in the car. and I really appreciate it from that standpoint. So that gets me past the weirdness of the visuals.
Well,
if
no,
that makes any
the
sense.
music is awesome. I mean, the music, it is like,
Yeah.
and it's, I mean, talk about an earworm, right? I mean, that stuff, because I've been like, it's been in my head ever since I got back from Disneyland, just from the attraction. And like I kept telling Scott, I did that attraction more than any other attraction the whole time I was at Disneyland. And I'm not a fan of the movie to be, you know, like I'm not like somebody that's ravenous has to see.
Awesome.
And I told Scott the first time I went through there, because he'd been on it, like he'd seen it like many times, like mostly. And I told him, I was like, this isn't even the same thing. Like, this is not the Haunted Mansion. This is like a whole different attraction. It's so different. Like, I thought it'd be an overlay with a couple extra props and some.
It weirdly works somehow.
Oh, it's so cool. And I'm like,
and I like
the
just standing in line there and hearing it sounds Christmassy but spooky at the same time. Like the whole ambiance, the decorations, and the soundscape of the line as you're waiting to get into the ride. It's cool.
Yeah, because one night I was having clam chowder, right? So I was late at night. I was had dinner. I had a bowl of clam chowder at that harbor. It's called Harbor Galley. It's just a little counter service place right there. I mean, it's directly across from the Haunted Mansion, right along the Rivers of America.
Okay.
There. It was like a bread bowl with clam chowder, and I was FaceTiming my wife, and I was talking to her, and she's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm at Disneyland. You know that? She's like, no, where in the park are you? Because what is that music? What is that sound? I'm like, oh, I'm sitting right across the street.
Music
it was the Haunted
right?
Mansion music. She's like, that is so eerily spooky, kind of weird. I'm like, yeah, you're hearing the Haunted Mansion holiday music. She's like, it's weird. But it's kind of eerie. I'm like, I know, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could hear it.
Cool. And when we were out there, we got to do Oogie Boogie for the first time, and that was so worth it.
I've never. So, Scott, have you ever done a hard ticket event out there? That'd be awesome.
No, that's kind of a newer event, so I have not had the chance to try that one yet.
I was one of the lucky ones when they released the tickets. I think there was some big crash, and so a lot of people ended up not getting tickets the day they released it. It was probably the end of June or early July or something. But somehow I got onto an online chat just to look up, if anybody else is having this problem, and discovered that you were able to get the tickets on the app. So instead of trying to do it the way we were told to do it, I just went right onto the app and I got the tickets. I don't know how. I was lucky because then they shut down the system and they didn't open up ticket sales again for a few days. But I was able to get it for my whole family and for my niece. And I highly recommend doing that event because you get to see so many different characters, and it's worth your time to because you get to go through the treat trails and get your treats and see the spooky characters while you're doing that. And you can, quick take a picture or a selfie as you pass by the character. They're usually kind of up a little bit on a stage, and you walk by them while you're going through the treat trail, and they interact with you. They'll kind of like talk with the people as they go by. It's really cool.
That would be cool. Yeah, I'd love to do that event out there. It's a matter
and
of
the
getting out there
Grizzly
the time of
Peak
year.
area does something super cool there too. They have this walkthrough trail. I don't know if I've only been once. I forget what this walkthrough woodsy trail is over there, but they theme it to different villains using lighting and special effects and music, and it's like walking through a haunted woods, but it's all Disney themed and it's beautiful. The lighting effects and tricks are so beautiful. And that's worth the wait. If it looks like a terribly long line, the line keeps walking because it's just a walkthrough thing. So that was super unique and just worth the hard ticket, in my opinion, as well. Because you don't get anything like that in World. I haven't done Mickey's Not So Scary, but I did do Boo Bash when they were, during the tail end of the pandemic. I was able to do that, so I can't compare, I guess. But it was worth the hype that I got from YouTubers.
And that's what I hear from everybody.
people online.
Everybody loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to do that. Yeah, I so now that I've done Disneyland 3 different times, like I got to get out there now for like seasonal stuff because like I did that food and wine festival for a couple days at DCA, and it was amazing.
Cool.
And I, just happened to be out there, and so now like I want to do a Halloween thing because that'd be so awesome. Or
The holidays.
Yeah. I mean, just got to get out there and see all these different things. Yeah, we were there for the 4th of July, so that was cool. So we got to do that. But so yeah, it's just I love it so much. I'm glad I got to see Haunted Mansion Holiday though, because that was a highlight, and it was that's the thing. It was an unexpected highlight. I was kind of like, I wish it wasn't Haunted Mansion Holiday. I loved it. It was so. I took so many pictures.
Yeah. What's your favorite ride in Disneyland?
Oh man, the thing is, it's like I know Scott's is Alice. I mean, and I love the Matterhorn.
Oh yeah, so sweet. Yeah,
I love the Matterhorn, but it doesn't love me back. It's so rough. I kind of like the subs because it's so unique. But then it's just kind of slow moving. There's not a lot to it. I love Mr. Toad. That's a good dark ride. It's just like I want to hug all of Disneyland. Like I love DCA too, but just like Fantasyland. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just, I love just the Red Rose Tavern, at breakfast. There's so much there.
We had breakfast there. It's
just, I don't know.
It's a small world. It's cool. It's longer and you see all
right.
the different characters hidden in it. That was neat.
Yeah.
I think a surprise for me, I assumed I would like it, but I didn't realize how much I would love it. It was the Indiana Jones ride.
That is a cool ride. So Small World was closed when we were out there this past time. Here's a great example though of Disneyland, and we got to run here because we're running a little bit long. But Scott and I noticed we were getting ready to ride the train around Disneyland, right? As you do, and we're getting on the train back by Toontown, kind of by Small World, right? And we're standing there,
right.
And we see next to that theater that normally does Lion King, a show that ended just recently, we find a snack stand back there that we had never noticed before. And we're like, what's that all about? We didn't know there was a snack stand back here because I guess it wasn't open last time we were there or something. We go back there. This snack stand has baked potatoes. Okay, so they sell baked potatoes. Yeah, okay, so on these baked potatoes, upon further inspection, is basically a Thanksgiving dinner on top. It's like a holiday sandwich from Earl of Sandwich on a baked potato. It's got like turkey, what it have? Like turkey, stuffing, gravy, all kinds of stuff. And then there's one like a traditional one with like, sour cream, chives, cheese, stuff like that. But I mean,
do you think anyone ever like parks hop with that stuff? Because like I'd love to have that with a drink. Like take my baked potato and go to DCA, get a Tio Rodrigo or something with it. That would be awesome.
Dude, that's why the people in Disneyland are so happy. They get snacks like that. I mean, I was like,
I know.
Like, and it was our last day. We're like, dude, we need a baked potato. I'm like, we just ate. Like we had just had a big meal.
That's a meal. I wonder if that would be a snack credit.
It's a snack.
That sounds like a good meal.
Yeah, it was like $7. It wasn't even that expensive. It was like $7. I mean, it was like a Thanksgiving dinner on top of a baked potato.
Amazing.
Back in the corner. Yeah, it was like real hidden. But I mean, it's like little charming things like that. I love that. Anyway, that's what I want to hug.
Real quick, I heard Scotty was doing ADRs yesterday morning, and I was too.
Oh,
you guys were against each other.
So does that mean you're going to be in Disney World on March 20th?
Yeah, I'd land on March 20th. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be in the Epcot area. My husband has a conference.
Okay.
And it's just the two of us because our kids already missed enough school for Disneyland. So it's just the two of us.
Nice. How many days are going to be there?
That's a win.
We'll be there Wednesday night through Saturday night, go home on a Sunday.
Okay, cool.
So we didn't do much for ADRs, but we wanted to do Jeetgo because we've never been to the Animal Kingdom area, lodge area. So that was the one ADR we did for like a fancy meal. And then since it's just the two of us, we're going to do a Keys to the Kingdom tour. So we signed up for that. Yes.
I'm also doing a Keys to the Kingdom tour.
No way.
But I'm doing mine.
I'm doing mine
after you leave,
How
though.
about you?
I'm doing mine after you leave. I'm doing it. I haven't booked it yet because that's one that you can't book with all your days. Because like when you book your reservations, it's like 60
It's not the
days plus
60
the
plus
length of
10.
your reservation, but that's always 60 days. So I haven't booked that yet, but it's going to be the next week. We're there for like 9 nights, so it's going to be the following week. So that would have been funny if we're on the same tour, though.
That would have been really funny.
So are you doing? Have
Yeah,
you ever
so I
done
really
Have you ever done Keys, Scott?
What's that?
No. So Emily, because you have to be
Emily,
16. You have to be 16 or older.
Yep, because
So we've never done it, and it was our Christmas gift for our friend Beth. You know Beth, Mike. So
Yep.
So the 4 of us are going to do it. And I'm really excited because I've never done that tour before. Like I'm really excited to.
Dude, it's
Because
awesome.
the only tour I've ever done is the behind the scenes, and my wife doesn't claim that that's a real tour. I still call it a tour, but
I haven't done that one. Yeah, it looks cool.
That's what we did last time. We were just the 2 of us in Disney. We did behind the scenes, and I thought it was fantastic.
yeah, I think it's great too. But yeah, Colleen, you have to like hit me up. You have to send me a message or something when
I
you're down
can
there.
email you.
Yeah.
And let you know. Our hope is to see Luminous because we haven't seen that, and do Tron because we haven't done Tron yet.
Awesome.
But lots of food and not food and wine, flower and garden.
Flower and Garden, the best festival there
Which
is.
is
for us.
food. Lots of good food and beverages too.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. All right, we got to cut. We got to jump out of here as we are way over time and try to keep these shows to an hour. But technical difficulties and stuff.
Appreciate the call, Colleen. That was awesome.
Totally do. And man, I'm so jealous. You're getting to go down to Walt Disney World in 60 days. I'm not. I'm out here for a few months. I'm out here till the summer until we got to cruise this summer. That's it. So I used up all my
so
mojo.
much. It's been a pleasure catching up with you guys.
All right. Hey, don't be a stranger. Give us a call before your trip. We'll talk some more.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Take care. We'll see you later.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
All right, Scotty G, what a show. Lots of calls, lots of trouble. We overcame them and had more calls, I think, than ever.
Yeah, that was great. I remember Colleen emailing me about San Diego tips. It's funny, like I've gotten a lot of people emailing me about San Diego. I even had someone yesterday. So like if you're going to Disneyland, I just can't recommend it enough. If you can spend a day or two and go a little bit further south of San Diego, it's just a beautiful area. Maybe you do the zoo or something. There's some great dining. So can't recommend that enough. Spend a few days out in Southern California and splash in some of these other towns. Like it's really, really worth it.
How far of a drive is San Diego from Disneyland?
Oh, well, it depends on the traffic and the days sometimes, but I'd say that probably about 90 minutes, not too bad.
That's not bad. Yeah. People ask you that because you always wear that San Diego hoodie.
I do.
Third uniform thing.
I love that thing.
I know you do. I love it. Yeah. Well, man, that's why you crack me up because you love that thing so hard. Okay. So we had a good time. Now we are going to do this again next Sunday, but Scotty G is going to be MIA because you've been giving him all this Lions love tonight during the show, which is well deserved. But what this means is his Lions are taking on the San Francisco 49ers during the showtime next Sunday night. So here's where you come in. We need you to help me, Mike Rallman, carry the show next Sunday night so that we can talk Disney. Take your calls just like this. We'll do some video calls. We'll do some phone calls. We got that figured out. I promise I'll get the rust shaken off and we'll be good next week. And we'll talk Disney, all the news that happens over the next week. We'll discuss that. Anybody wants to call in and share many trip reports, stuff from Marathon Weekend, Disneyland Half-Marathon Weekend, whatever you want to talk about, the phone lines will be open for you. And we'll keep an eye on Scotty too during the football game because I always have the big screen.
Yeah. If there's like a good break in the game, maybe I'll call in for a few minutes too. You never.
Well, I don't like to mess with people during their games. That's a dangerous proposition. Because I would not want to be on the air during any kind of Mizzou competition. So I know how that is. So we probably not. But the next week, it's kind of a dead week before the Super Bowl because I'm sure I'm just saying I feel good for the Lions. I know I shouldn't say this. But I feel good. I'm going.
Oh no, we're cursed people.
No, I know, seriously, but I don't know. I've adopted the Lions. That coach is just he's like blue collar, man. He wants that team to get it done. And
I gotta watch the press conference. Just got a bunch of alerts. Like he was in typical Dan Campbell fashion. He was crying at the podium. He's so.
You don't like your coach. You do not have a pulse. I mean, what is wrong with you? You don't like your coach. I mean,
I love him.
I love Dick Vermeil back in the day, right? We had the Rams. Like he was like grandpa. Like he just like made me cry every time at the press conference. And Dan Campbell's like a young Dick Vermeil. Like he gets me in the feels all the time. So Yeah, I've adopted your squad. Anyway, but I won't adopt it too hard that I give him the curse. So that's where you come in. We'll be back together again next Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Phone lines will be open all the places. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Of course, the show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We're here all week helping you plan great Disney vacations, no cost to you. I take care of those. We build that relationship. We have a good time planning those trips. Again, I'd love to help you out. Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney. So just check out the website, themagicforless.com. Please use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. One extra click supports everything we do. BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons. You guys make all this possible. Patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. And you get a bonus show. All of our patrons do, called Mike in the Midwest, every week. So come on over. Patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Give Scott a follow on the social media. He's a great follow at Epscott, EPSCOT, on all the places like Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. I'm in those same places at BeOurGuestMike. And of course, we'll have all the shows this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for your downloading enjoyment. And if you don't mind this week, please give us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. We're kind of running low on those. We have a lot, but they kind of expire after almost 16 years. So if you could just put a few words up there, a rating and review would be much appreciated this week. So swing by there. And if you could do that, we'd really, really thank you for that. All right, time to jump out of here and wish you a great Thursday here on the feed, or Sunday night if you're tuned in live. We hope you have a great week. Thanks for being a part of the show. So for Scott, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Sunday night or Thursday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
So I know something funny. So Jared just messaged me about like Sam Laporta. Like he went to like Jared and Stacy's high school apparently, but which is awesome. But I think a relative of yours messaged me. Like, do you know a Beth, like Frank or something?
Yeah, she's my sister-in-law's best friend.
Okay, she messaged me after the Lions one. I had no idea who this person is. She's like, "Oh, congratulations to your Lions. I just want you to know Sam Laporta like grew up 5 miles from me. He went to a rival high school." It was just kind of funny.
She teaches in St. Jacob, Illinois.
Okay.
So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, Beth Frank. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. She's like, you don't know me, but I'm Mike's sister-in-law's Donna's friend or something.
Exactly. Yeah, she's Donna's best friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's so funny. Yeah, she's a math teacher.
So if she's listening, I appreciated the message. I thought that was awesome.
I got to tell Pam.
Yeah.
I'll text Donna. That's hilarious.
Cool. I got to run because I got to pick up Emily from robotics here in a little bit. So,
dude, on a Sunday night, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, robotics is like 4 days a week now, apparently, like 6 to 9. That's crazy.
Wow. All right, well, tell the family I said hello and I miss them.
Yeah, tell the family I say hi to, and I'll talk to you.
At 5:30.
I think I should be able to.
All right, I'll see you there.
All right.
Okay, thanks, buddy.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.